Hello out there. I haven't done a video in a couple of days. It's been crazy, and so I fell behind, and I've got some time between session, and I wanted to hop on, and I just had an amazing experience. I just got to watch the mind and spirit heal in a way that's just miraculous. We have such internal strength. I watched a person who's been suffering for 50 years, 50 years of just pain and anguish for some actions that he was involved in. Find the peace within himself to know that he really was doing the best he could in that situation. There wasn't anything else he could do. That was, to me, that was a miraculous thing that I got to watch, and I think it's a blessing from God. And I don't, I'm not here to preach or anything, but my faith is very important to me, and so I'd be a slothful servant in my eyes if I didn't recognize God's hand in this work. This is amazing stuff I get to witness. And I am so grateful for that. I want to talk about, so we talked about in the last video, the first assumption that everyone's doing the best they can with the skills they have. And I want to talk about what it means to be the next two assumptions in DBT. And those are that, well, I'm going to read them so I get them right, because the wording is, I sometimes screw it up. People want to improve. The common characteristics of all people is that they want to improve their lives and be happy. And that number 3, people need to do better, try harder, and be more motivated to change. The fact that people are doing the best they can and want to even do better doesn't mean that things are enough, that these things are enough to solve the problem. And then there's a footnote on this. But trying harder and being more motivated may not be needed if progress is steady and a realistic rate of improvement. Why these two ideas are so important is we can't stop at number 1. We can't stop at the idea that people are doing the best they can. We want more out of life than what we have, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more out of life than what we have. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting your pain that has been there for 50 years to be better. It is not selfish, it's not anything. It's an honest, virtuous desire to actually want to feel better about what you're going through. And so I fundamentally believe that people do want to do better in life. I don't actually think that anyone wants to be stuck in the quagmire that they are in life. I believe that people want to do better. The problem is wanting it doesn't make it so. And so we do need to try harder. We do need to learn more things. We do need to apply ourselves. And we need to judge ourselves appropriately. We need to understand that this is a process. This is not a destination. So if we're even making, and I've seen this a lot in the coaching group that I'm in, everyone talks about 1% change. If we can make a 1% change, then we can do so much more in our lives. I just watched someone sit for 45 minutes and make a 1% shift in his brain. That's all it was, 1%. The idea that he honestly did the best that he could in that situation. And all of a sudden, bam, everything got better. Now, he still has to live with what happened. He still has to go through the struggles of those things. But he is better with it. And now he can make a different change. And he can keep making those incremental changes time after time. And that's what I've seen in my journey. That's what blows my mind is it wasn't about the massive shift. It was about the night that I realized I'm addicted. It was the night that I realized it was December 28th or something. And it was just after Christmas, and my wife was working an overnight shift, and I just was done. I knew I couldn't do any better than I was doing. I knew I wanted more out of life, and I didn't know how to do it, but I knew that I could make just one shift. And I texted her that night and I said, babe, I've got to go to 12-step meetings. I can't think of anything else to do to get over this. And that 1% shift led to walking into that 12-step meeting. And I didn't know crap. I didn't know anything about how I was going to get over this. And and sitting in that 12-step meeting and staring down at my work badge from the counseling place that I was working at, being a full mental health licensed therapist, having all this, wonderful knowledge and whatnot, and not knowing how to get out of my own addictions, not knowing how to get out of the way of my own life. And I sat there and kept making 1% shift after 1% shift, and every day. And then all those days started adding up until I'm here. And that is all this is. That's the work that's required. Not shifting everything, not changing everything, making incremental 1% shifts. And I'm grateful today. This has been such an affirming thing. I get to be to work on these days. I get to be here with my clients on these, and I get to watch them get better and find relief. 1%. That's what Assumption 2 and 3 is about. Accepting that you need to change, and then starting something to do it in place. And so even if you never enter counseling, even if you never do real mental health therapy or anything like that, you can do a 1% shift. Even just shifting that 1%, the recognizing and accepting that you're doing the best you can, that will be a miraculous thing in your life. So this has just been an awesome day. I hope to post a video later on tonight to catch up on the videos that I missed. But man alive, what a great experience. I hope you all have a blessed day. I hope you guys can find your 1% shifts.